Life is a funny thing, and on the level of form, it is not always easy to figure out why something happens to us. It's easy to label certain occurrences as bad or even terrible and disastrous. But it's also in these so-called terrible incidents we have the possibility, even if so just for a moment, to see beyond judgment of good and bad, that it's all our own creation, that it's all a lesson from our higher self. That when we feel attachment to things being in a certain way, we also feel a fear of things not turning out the way we want them to. So on a higher level, we give ourselves lessons to wake up, lessons to let go of attachment, and knowing that feeling attached to things in life is not the same as feeling grateful for things in life. Attachment is based on fear and originates from the ego. Gratitude is based on love and comes straightly from God.
Separate my body from my soul, and Jesus he that leaves that takes me. Hopes of heaven, fears of hell, and what's the chance of making it when all my other plans to fail, and I've tried so hard to fake it.
In my life, body movement has always been my passion. I thought, if I couldn't move my body the way I wanted to, who would I be? What would be the point of going on? And the fact that I fear losing what I have means that I have too much attachment to things being in a certain way. And then it's easy to forget that I actually am grateful for what I have. And that's when we give ourselves lessons to wake up. And these lessons can come in many different forms, but always with the same purpose: to shift our focus of attention from fear to gratitude and to love. I got one of those painful but valuable lessons yesterday. In a stressful and chaotic situation at work, where everything that could go wrong seemed to go wrong, I missed the information on the communication radio that a passing train was coming on the railway next to the one I was working on. And I stood too close to the rail and I got hit by the train. It hit me in the lower back and I got catapulted away some meters and I landed in the snow.
And Jesus he that leaves that takes me. Hopes of heaven, fears of hell, and what's the chance of making it when all my other plans have failed, and I've tried so hard to fake it.
First, I couldn't understand what just happened. All of a sudden I felt this enormous pain in my back, and it felt like my back just folded up like an envelope when the train hit me. Then I just bounced up on my feet again, running around in circles, screaming out of pain, trying to make sense of what just happened. And why? Did I just destroy my back forever? Why? Am I gonna be immobile for the rest of my life? I felt such a loss for a moment when I saw myself not being able to do all the things that I love doing. Then it all just went away. Not the physical pain, but the feeling of loss. I knew in that moment that beyond that chaotic life situation of mine, I am always here and I am always fine, no matter what happens. I felt peace. I could hear the noise on the communication radio that somebody got hit by a train, but it didn't concern me. At that moment, I had no attachment to anything. I just felt grateful for everything. And I started to say to myself, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. People around me kept asking me if I was okay. What actually did happen out there? I was asked to file a report, but it just didn't feel natural to do that right now, so I had to ask for help. Based on my actions and my words, I guess it seemed as though I was in shock. Maybe I was. but on some level, I was at peace. Right there and then, the only thing that kept my attention in the physical world was the pain. But the pain didn't seem to bother me that much. It was just a sensation. They said it was important that I went to the hospital. I'd never been a fan of hospitals, but not even that seemed to bother me. So I said, I'll go to the hospital. I took the train all by myself to the hospital. I couldn't sit down, so train worked better than a taxi. Apparently, when you've been hit by a train, you get prioritized at the hospital, because I didn't have to wait long at all. I said no thanks to painkiller. I prefer to feel as much as possible. They placed me on a bed and checked my blood pressure as well as my heart rate, which was both fine. My heart rate was down at 55, which is quite low for somebody who has just been hit by a train, I remember thinking to myself. Then a doctor examined my spine for some time and concluded that there was no real damage on the spine and that I must have been guarded by angels. And I thought, yes I am. I am my own angel, and I always been. What saved me was the fact that I am so flexible in my back. My right glute took the biggest hit, and instead of breaking my back, it just folded up in a U-shaped formation as I flew away and landed in the snow. So what saved me was my lifelong passion for having a flexible body, and that is not a coincidence if you ask me. And yes, I am guarded by an angel. The angel that is me. When we let fear run our life, we will keep getting these lessons until we wake up and revalue things. The bigger the fear is of losing what we have, the bigger the lessons will be. The ego loves labeling these lessons as terrible accidents that just happen to me all the time without no particular reason. And it loves to feed on the drama that comes with it. And other people's egos are likely to agree with you. Yes, you're right, the world is unfair, and if there's a God above, he's probably a cruel one. The world's collective ego at work. I feel it's important that we realize that these lessons are caused by none but ourselves, and that it's all for our own greater good. And they do not necessarily mean that we need to let go of all attachment, of all fear. That may take a bigger lesson than we could imagine. The point of these lessons are to tip the scale. Gratitude for what we have will be heavier and bigger than the fear of losing what we have. Then we can realize that what happens is not the most important thing. How we choose to respond to what happens is what matters. Sometimes you literally have to be hit by a train to wake up and to shift the focus from fear of losing what you have to being grateful for what you have. To tip the scale from fear to love. I don't think I will lose my move ability after this, and I don't think that that was the point either. I just needed to wake up and feel. I'm in a lot of pain right now, but I feel like I'm more alive than I've been in a long time. I can't say for sure that I won't get any physical long-term effects from this happening, but whatever movability I will ever have, I will now be extremely grateful for. I used to be so afraid that I would hurt my fingers, so I couldn't play guitar anymore. And that eventually manifested by me getting hit by a car when I was out cycling, and I crashed my left little finger totally. My most important guitar finger. Now, 6 months later, I still can't play as good as before, but now I am so grateful that I actually have 9 perfect fingers, and I don't focus at all at the last one. It actually works. Not perfect, but it works.
To carry on when you lost someone. believe that you did it all the same that cost you all this pain. Thank you for this friendly world. Thank you so very much. Love and joy and happiness.
Thank you, 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 thank you.
I'm the king of the sand, of the old